And we are live. Welcome to the Ango show here on youtube.com/AngoYT. Guys, I am so glad that we are back live on the channel. Hopefully all of the audio sounds good. Please let me know if there's an issue of some kind in the chat. Shout out to everybody who decided to stop by. We're going to be talking about NXT tonight. And yes, it feels good. In a few moments, we'll go to the control room because now going forward, our live shows are going to be live call-in shows. Hopefully no technical issues. It seems like I got that worked out, but hopefully you guys are all doing well. I'm doing pretty good. What's up, Negla K, Nate TV, Myra, Justin Kennington, Bacon Time, Denisha. So many of you are in the chat. It should be a very fun night, a fun review show, because as you guys know, I like to just I like to talk about wrestling, and I see these other review shows, and if you guys are familiar with the way I kind of do things, then you know very well. We're going to turn on my audio a little bit. You know very well when I do my live shows, I don't like to go, match by match and, try to dissect absolutely everything. I try to give you guys some positives, some negatives. I try to tell you guys what I would do differently, what I feel is important, what's not important. That's just kind of the way that we do the show. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad we're back. What's up, Zachary? Shout out to Denisha Lane. Denisha Lane has become a pro member for a good 2 months. Shout out to you. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Guys, this is going to be pretty fun. So really quick, before I open up the phone lines, because I know you guys probably have questions and everything like that, let's do this really quick. I want to show you guys the control room because we designed a control room for the live streams. It's actually really cool. I can't wait to show this to you guys. Let's see. Okay. So as of right now, I'm going to show you guys the control room. This is really cool. So let's click on the button here. And this right here is the control room. Oh my goodness, guys, this is some really cool stuff I've been working on. Hopefully you guys like it. So we have a phone number for the show. The phone line is currently down. I'll tell you guys when I turn it on. But just so you guys know, all of the streams here on the Ango Show Live, the Ango Show Live is brought to you guys by streammusic.gg, which is my music service. I offer free music for people to listen to. If you're a content creator, you can use it absolutely for free. If you do live streams, you can also use the music, no copyrights, nothing like that. And it's really cool because here in the control room, if you're wondering what song you're listening to in the background, it's actually going to show you. So I got that all connected. And then, of course, we also have the Super Chat Championship belt. So the Super Chat Championship belt is actually really cool. So I did a couple rule changes to the Super Chat Champion. So it's going to be month by month basis instead of just like streams or whatever it may be. So if you want to become the Super Chat Champion, basically whoever has the most Super Chats by the end of the month will be part of Super Chat, will basically be the reigning and defending champion. So it was just like a really cool idea. I know we've kind of talked about it before. We got the championship belt design right there. And then technically we actually did a live stream just a couple days ago, testing out the internet, making sure everything was good. And Albert Ponce dropped 2 $5 Super Chats. So shout out to Albert. Technically he is the champion for this month. Obviously things are going to look a lot more different going into December, fresh new month. A couple changes here in the control room. You're going to see that there's a daily member goal. So back when I was doing live streams on Twitch, you guys know on Twitch there is this ability to where you can use basically Twitch Prime or whatever it may be, and then you get some perks. Here on YouTube, it doesn't necessarily work that way. YouTube is giving you a deal, so I believe it's 50% off for your first month. If you guys want to subscribe and become a member, we have a daily goal of 5. So that's a really cool thing. We got a tracker there, and then of course the top super chat for the stream. We got a lot of cool stuff happening. We got the best community, but of course this is all about this is all about the community. It's all about interaction, and that's what we're going to be doing. So before we talk about NXT, I think we should open the phone lines. Do you guys want me to open the phone lines? Tell me in the chat if you want me to open the phone lines. I'm super excited about that. That excites me. A lot of things could go down. Wow. Yeah. You know what? Let's just open up the phone lines. Let's do it. And then I'll give you guys my personal take on NXT. Wow, this is fun. 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 Let's do it. Guys, the phone lines are now open. 313-389-6503. Let's do it. Let's talk. If you guys want to call into the show, this is your chance to be on the Ango Show. Definitely appreciate those who call into the show. And by the way, if you haven't clicked that like button, feel free to click that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. My goal is to turn the Ango Show Live into the most must-see live streams on YouTube when it comes to wrestling. So what's really, really cool about that, we're not just going to do review shows, right? We're going to talk about wrestling. That's kind of how my review shows go. We go live, we talk about stuff, we talk about wrestling, open conversations. I love it. I'm absolutely excited about it. Let's get those phone lines going. It looks like the phone lines are up and running. Hopefully. Let's see. I don't know if you guys are trying to call, but I just got an error. Of course, you got to have a technical issue somewhere once in a while. Let's see. Settings. Sound. I think it's sound. Let's see. It looks like it should be working. Oh. I just got a phone call and I think I missed the call. Guys, if I don't answer, just give me a call back. I'm going to answer it as best as I can. Let's see. Why isn't this showing? Play sound, play sound, play sound, play sound. What is happening here? Oh. Let's see what's going on. Allow. Okay, why isn't this ringing? I see your calls. I see your guys' calls coming in, so just give me a second. We're going to figure this out. Interesting. I'm not looking at my stream service. Oh, we're getting a call.
Call from.
This is Corey from Oklahoma.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
You're live on the Ango show.
Hi, Ango. I'm a big fan of your show. I'm not looking at my stream service. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I just had a couple questions for you.
Yeah, hit me.
There's been a lot of rumors going back. I know you had the William Regal stuff last week. It almost sounded like he was going back to WWE at some time.
Mm-hmm.
And also I read today that Daxon's and Hardwoods, their contracts are up in April. Do you think there's a chance they would go back to WWE?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a good chance of that. Honestly, I think, this is definitely the fan perspective of me talking here, right? It's not from the analytical side, but I think, when you look at the way they've been booked, when you look at the way that they left WWE, I feel like these guys just want to be the very best. I think they want to be utilized. I don't think for these guys I think booking might have a little bit to do with it, but I think they just want to be out there. They want to be putting out the best matches. I think they want to do all of these different things, and I think that's a little bit difficult to do in AEW, with the roster being so crowded, and it's a very weird situation. I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I think there's a good chance of them going to WWE, but not right away. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I just didn't know because I know they were really used well under Triple H before, and they do have the DIY there if they wanted to put Gargano and Ciampa back together as a tag team. So you could actually relive some of those NXT matches.
Absolutely. So I think that's a really good point that you're bringing up. And then I think another thing too that a lot of people don't understand about the WWE versus AEW thing, right? For these guys, I don't think it's based on the company that they're in, right? I think they're looking at it from the perspective of what's that big match that we can do. They obviously went to AEW. They had some big matches. There's a couple of NXT matchups like the ones that you brought up that are really good. But I think also when you look at NXT right now, or when you look at, some of these teams that are they're not necessarily being featured all the time, but at some point they're going to be given a chance. And I could see FTR definitely wanting that. The only thing, and I want to ask you this question, what do you think about them going into WWE as FTR? Or do you think they should be the Revival? How would you kind of go about that if you were booking it?
I would sit them back as an FTR. That's what fans know them as. You're getting a hot act that comes over from AEW. You may bring a portion of the AEW audience over with them. Because I think they've been gone long enough that I don't know if a lot of WWE fans really remember FTR that great as a Revival. So I think you just bring them in as FTR.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. I definitely agree with that for sure. Yeah. Very
interesting
cool.
one to me is William Regal, because you almost think he has to be going back because he'd be getting a high executive role there. So he would be an employee versus an independent contractor.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you off the rip too, based on what I saw tonight on NXT. And it's nothing against Shawn Michaels, but I feel like as somebody who actually enjoys NXT, I've realized in recent months that it's just kind of inconsistent with not necessarily booking, but just some of the gimmicks and stuff. There's certain things that I've noticed that maybe they should change. I would like to see William Regal in an executive position. I would like to see him write the show. Honestly, I would like to see him be head of creative, head of recruiting, and then kind of build a team with him, Shawn Michaels, Matt Bloom, Norman Smiley, and then just kind of build from there. Because I don't think the main roster needs his assistance. I think NXT probably needs it more.
NXT.
And he's obviously familiar with that too. But I could very well see Regal. I read some sort of report today, and I don't know exactly who dropped it, but there was some talk of maybe William Regal being in a situation where, despite the fact that he's in a 3-year contract, there could potentially be a way for him to get out of it or something. So
and I have a feeling with him being an executive in that company, I could see them, and I don't know how much he's getting paid with AEW, but I could see them potentially buying out that contract.
You never know. Hey, This is the Triple H era of WWE,
Yeah.
you know, and I think a lot of times people think that maybe Triple H wouldn't be willing to work with AEW in some capacity. There could be a scenario, you know, for WWE to bring in William Regal. Maybe AEW wants to do a talent swap, or there's just all I'm saying is maybe we shouldn't put it past us that Triple H would be more willing to do something like that with AEW versus like Vince McMahon, if that makes sense.
Hey, he's working with Noah now, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And it seems like, I don't know what the working relationship is, but it seems like they're open to the New Japan stuff.
That's the hot rumor. So obviously I'll be paying attention a lot to that and see kind of what comes out of it. But that excites me. I mean, it's a different era for sure. And that's, you know, if you would have asked me 6 months ago if I felt like this could have been a possibility, I would have told you absolutely not. But look where we are.
Under Vince, none of this stuff. Because that's why FTR left, what Vince was wanting to do with them. And it's like, oh, yeah, no. But now with Tony Khan not using them really well and them really having their best run under Triple H, I think there can be a possibility they head back.
I definitely agree.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate the channel. I follow it all the time. I appreciate you updating us on everything. And keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate you for calling in. You're actually the first caller, so I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for just showing some love. Honestly, I'm super excited about it, and I know there's a lot of great things that we could do on this channel, and with people like you supporting it, definitely helps, and it's definitely motivating and inspiring for me. So thank you for calling in. Feel free, you know, we'll be doing live call-ins regularly, so feel free to call in and then hang out in the chat. And if anything else pops up, the phone lines will be open, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you for the content.
No problem. Take care.
Have a good one. Bye.
Guys, what a great conversation. This is what I was hoping to see from the live call-in show. This is exactly what I was hoping to see from the live call-in show. Now, before I start taking some more calls, because I saw a whole bunch of calls come in, we got to acknowledge some super chats. They are popping up. So let's do that. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm going to move this to the side because, yeah, we're getting super chats. So definitely want to take some of those super chats, answer questions, whatever it may be, and then we'll go back to the phone lines. So let's do that. So right now here on the super chats, let's go to the YouTube dashboard. I don't want to miss any super chats, so let me try to go in order. Okay, so Rick Corella has dropped a $5 super chat. Rick says, would you be disappointed if Sasha doesn't come back? Not me. Well, Rick, that's actually a great question. Would I be disappointed? No, I wouldn't be disappointed. You know, at the end of the day, I felt like she did have a sour run with Vince McMahon, and I understand it's a different regime, but it seems like these days Sasha Banks is a little bit more willing to do more things for her personal career, right? So when I look at what she's done, you know, she's doing some stuff with Disney, she's doing red carpet. There's a lot of possibilities there. So what I would say is I wouldn't be disappointed. I would be disappointed if she went to another wrestling company, though. I would say that. I would be pretty honest with you. I feel like if she's going to return to wrestling, she should be back in WWE. So thank you, Rick, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Justin Kennington dropped a $5 super chat. Which pay-per-view are you most interested in, Royal Rumble or WrestleMania? This is a fantastic question, and I'm going to be honest with you. I actually thought both shows historically have been my favorite pay-per-views. Royal Rumble has always been fun because of the surprise factor. Now that Triple H is in charge, that actually intrigues the living crap out of me. I'm not going to lie to you guys one bit. I think Triple H being in charge, there's some rumors of WWE wanting to do some like Forbidden Door surprise entrance this year. I'll make a video on that in the near future. So I'm very, very excited about Royal Rumble this year. But I can't sit here and act like I'm not excited about Triple H's first WrestleMania, because this to me feels like it's going to be a massive deal. I feel like it's going to be a big success for WWE. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, and this is me just being a fan of wrestling, WWE storytelling has been really good, in my opinion. And I think WrestleMania, we will see a lot of payoffs to big storylines, whereas I think Royal Rumble will kind of be the pay-per-view that gets us there. So I don't want to say for sure, just at this moment, that I don't want to pick Royal Rumble, but there's a lot of things for me to love about Royal Rumble, if that makes sense. Justin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Barack O'Holiday, what's up, brother? $1.99 super chat. I'm definitely a fan. Proud of your accomplishments. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, we're working, we're grinding, we're back on the grind. Some people might say I fell off. I never fell off. I just keep getting back up. A lot of big things coming soon to this channel. The live streams are a big push. Shorts, maybe you guys have seen my shorts. If you guys didn't know, I'm on TikTok now. Instagram, like I'm doing everything. I'm pushing content. I'm making content. I'm always in Discord. A lot of great things coming this way. So appreciate that, Barack O'Holiday. Thank you for the super chat. We got a 20 bomb from Myra. Congratulations on the growth. What's your current hottest take at the moment? For old time's sake, where is Albert and Nick? JK. Greetings from my island of relevancy. Shout out to Myra. Appreciate that so much. My current hottest take at the moment is honestly kind of shocking because I liked NXT so much. But since Triple H has actually taken over WWE's creative, I feel like NXT is the least desirable product that I watch. So if I had to rank them, I would say SmackDown is my number 1, Raw is my number 2, and AEW and Impact are tied at 3. When I say AEW, I'm speaking of Dynamite. I do not watch Rampage anymore. So I don't know if it's probably a hot take because you guys know that I really, really like NXT, but I just feel like NXT has not been that great lately. Great things are happening on the show. Things are logical, but what it really comes down to is NXT is just too cheesy. I mean, I feel like the booking could be strong. The wrestling could be good. A lot of people are doing good things on NXT, but some of these characters are getting a little too cheesy. I think some of the storylines are getting really cheesy. Some of the backstage segments are getting a little too cheesy. And it's weird because it's like 50-50. It's like half of the show is really good and then the other half is like really strange. So definitely a hot take for me if you guys have been following the channel. Where is Albert and Nick? I don't know. We'll have to track them down. But thank you, Myra, for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. Zachary dropped a $4.99 super chat. Only thing is, if FTR returns to WWE, they would not be able to work NJPW, AAA, and other promotions. If Triple H allows them, they are returning, no doubt. Listen, Zach, I'll be honest with you, man. With Triple H, I can't speak for the guy. I think anything is possible at this rate. I don't know exactly what to expect in that regard, but I would say, if I'm being honest, I would say that there's always a chance that Triple H would allow them to. But I think if FTR went into WWE, I think they would know this and probably not care, if that makes sense. But I think it's a possibility that they come back. I really do. Like I said on the phone call earlier, I feel like they've definitely been in a situation where they haven't been booked that well. And that would be a reason for wanting them to leave. And obviously Triple H, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Usos, tag team division is growing. If you look at the NXT tag team division, it's absolutely on fire. WWE is going to have a very good tag team division. FTR might want to be there. As a fan, I would like to see that. So thank you, Zachary, for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. We got another super chat. Rick Corrales again for $5. I think that Solo is the one that turns only because nobody expects it. Plus, he always has sideways looks. I've been pointing this out on Twitter a lot. So I believe that Solo Sikoa will turn, and I think he's going to leave the Bloodline. He is going to be the reason why the Bloodline is over. How they go about it, I can't even predict a scenario in which they do it, but I could see it very well being the case. Personally speaking, I would like to see it happen at WrestleMania. I want to see the payoff happen for all of these stories to happen at WrestleMania. So that's what I would say. Rick Corrales, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Guys, we're getting more calls, so let's go back to the phone lines. If you guys want to call into the show, go ahead and do so now. We're getting tons of calls. Keep in mind, I can only answer one call at a time, so feel free to make a call. If you guys want to call into the show, the phone line is now open. Again, the phone number right here on the screen, 313-389-6503. Call into the Ango Show Ask your questions. Let's have a chat. Let's have a talk. This is going to be very, very fun. Very exciting. I'm geeked. Let's see what is happening. Oh. I feel like we should be getting an alert, but I don't see an alert. There's like so many calls going forward. Let me see what is happening here. Okay, that is strange. So you guys, I think, are like literally blowing up the phone lines to the point where it's not ringing. So we'll give that a second. I'm going to keep that going until that sorts itself out. Too many calls are coming in. We got a super chat, though, from our good friend Albert Ponce. Albert says, would be great to see WWE work with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but is Hunter okay with WWE being another that works with NJPW, or would he want WWE and NJPW to be exclusive? That is a wonderful question. I think Triple H would want to have an exclusive deal with New Japan. And I think if you're New Japan, you would probably want the exclusive deal with WWE. Would that happen? I'm not necessarily too sure. Thank you, Albert, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. All these calls are coming in. I got to figure out how to get this. I guess I didn't anticipate so many calls. That's probably the thing to deal with in this situation. But if you guys are trying to get on the calls, don't stop. Don't give up. Keep calling, because we'll get there. Also, to add to what Albert said, with Triple H wanting to be exclusive, I could see Triple H wanting exclusivity, because I feel like Triple H would want to do a pay-per-view, if that makes sense. Personally, that's how I think it would go down. I think Triple H would want to have like a pay-per-view, kind of like the Forbidden Door. But yeah, nonetheless, we'll kind of see what happens there, right? We're back in the control room. 313-389-6503. Let's see what is happening here. I think what happens is so many calls come in. So like as you're calling, with there being so many calls, there's a lot of, I don't know. Okay. Let's see. A lot of people in the chat. A lot of people trying to call in. What is going on? You guys are killing the system. Oh, man. I love technology. What is happening here? Y'all broke the phone. You guys broke the phone. 313-389-6503. Don't give up. We're going to get somebody else on the line. We're working on it. Just make sure you're calling. That's funny. That is funny. I got to give you guys props. You guys broke the phone line. You're live on the Ango Show. State your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, James from Clarksville, Tennessee.
James, thank you for calling.
Just picked you up a couple days ago on YouTube, so I'm going to start listening more often. I'm more of a YouTube person than I am the internet because I know more about wrestling than I do the internet. I want to ask you, in your opinion, do you think Otis is going to stick around and be Chad's big body for much longer? They've been running that much longer than I thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, part of this, right? I think this is a wonderful question. I think part of the earlier on the call, we were talking a little bit about FTR, right, coming back. Part of seeing Chad Gable and Otis together, I like it. Like seeing Alpha Academy as a tag team, I think seeing them being able to potentially become tag team champions once the belts are freed up, I think there's a lot of potential there. With that being said, I do want to clarify, though. I also think Otis could actually have a really solid singles run. So I could see Triple H splitting them up as well, if that makes sense.
They've been a lot longer lasting than I thought they would. I thought they'd been broke up 6 months ago. But whatever happened to Otis's partner before he turned with Miz? I forget his name, but he was the bulk of the team as far as muscle, but I can't remember his name.
Tucker. I think you're thinking of Tucker.
Is he still on the independent scene somewhere?
I believe he's floating around a little bit. Unfortunately, post WWE, it didn't look like they were doing much. It didn't look like he was doing much. Now, granted, with that being said, you never know, man. WWE is a very crazy company these days. Triple H is bringing people back. I do like the possibility of Chad Gable being a serious, single star in WWE. There could always be that possibility of bringing in Tucker Knight and Otis, heavy machinery, reunite.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about another question. Going back to the situation with the WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble, they keep saying that they're going to have Cody come back in time for the Royal Rumble, possibly even WrestleMania later on in the summer. Which do you think it's going to be, Royal Rumble or WrestleMania that we'll see Cody return?
Yeah, I think Cody is going to return at the Rumble. I also believe Cody needs to win the Rumble. So I actually made a video a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago, and I kind of speculated like how I would personally book it. And one of the things that I said was WWE should have Cody Rhodes win the Rumble. The Rock versus Roman should be for one championship on night one. Roman can defeat The Rock on night one, so that way he's holding one of the belts. On night two, he'll have to defend the other World Championship belt against Cody. This way, Cody can win against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He gets the big moment. Roman Reigns technically is still a world champion because he will have only defended one belt against Cody. And then this way, they de-unify the title belts. And I think that would make the most logical sense if you're WWE. Roman Reigns working double duty, I think, is the thing that makes the most sense. And if you think about it, The Rock versus Roman night one, Cody versus Roman night two, I think you're going to satisfy all types of fans as well.
Yeah. One final question, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
What's your situation? You think we'll ever see John Cena win number 17? The rumor has been good. He's going to come back and make one final appearance and get number 17 out of the way.
I want it to happen so bad, James. If I could be honest with you, I want that to happen so incredibly bad. I don't think it's going to happen with Triple H in charge. But, one thing I would be okay with, and to book it, I would be okay with WWE, and I don't think they would do this, and maybe a lot of people won't agree, but I would have WWE have John Cena win the Money in the Bank briefcase. This way, he doesn't have to show up on TV. There's always going to be that surprise element. I would have him cash in beforehand, right? So he wouldn't cash in on the spot, but he would guarantee his match, right? For example, it could be like a SummerSlam or something like that. He could say, "Hey, I'm booking this match ahead of time. Hustle, loyalty, respect." He's the babyface John Cena. He says, "I'll be there at SummerSlam." Maybe have him win the World Championship. And then, after winning 17, he can officially announce his retirement from in-ring action. Maybe that is something that they can do.
17 will be just icing on the cake to his career. He's done everything else in the business, made more Make-A-Wish contributions than any other person. He's done it all in all aspects, Hollywood, wrestling. He's done everything he could ask of him. I think it'd be wise for WWE to let him win number 17.
James, I 100% agree with you. The likelihood, I don't know if I would say it's high, but I do know it would be something I would like, because I think, and this might bother some people, but I think if John Cena were to win the 17th World Championship and vacate the belt, I think a lot of people would feel like that's forced. And that kind of sucks, because John Cena has always been like a fighting champion. He's never really been like this part-time guy. Now he's a part-time guy. If that were the case, I would rather have John Cena retire by putting the belt on the line and then losing to somebody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That way he could kind of pass the torch to somebody. Hey, maybe Austin Theory, right? There's a lot of options there, but I just don't know. I just don't know what John Cena's commitment to the WWE would be at this stage of the game, unfortunately.
Do you think if Reigns does lose it, we'll see the end of Reigns' career in wrestling?
Absolutely not, but I do think he'll go into a more part-time role. He's already working part-time these days anyways, but I can see a situation where he goes more part-time.
All right, Ango. Appreciate your conversation. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. Have a good night, okay?
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Shout out to James for calling into the Ango show. That was really cool. I saw that we got a super chat, so let's take a look at that really quick. So we got a super chat. Albert dropped 2 super chats. Albert says, for $5, would be great to see WWE work with New Japan, but... Oh, actually, wait, that was the one he just did. Excuse me. Brain fart. If the deal between New Japan and WWE went exclusive, do you see Triple H sending the Bloodline to do a storyline in Japan, Seth, Becky, Bray, if it's exclusive, both to have to benefit? Well, here's what I think. Albert, I'm glad you brought this up. I think Triple H would send talent over to New Japan. I think WWE would also launch NXT Japan. So by doing so, you would see some main roster talent go out there, and I think you're going to see NXT Japan become a brand, and I think that would be something more along the lines. I think in order for the idea for them to have a good partnership, NXT Japan has to be a thing. So I would like to see WWE push that. Now, with that being said, I also want to make it very clear, the Bloodline, Becky, Seth, I mean, there's a lot of great matchups that can happen, but WWE, in my opinion, will not do any sort of working relationship with a company if they're not able to broadcast it on their platforms. So I don't know what will come of that, but that's kind of where I see it. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, brother. You're live on the Ango show.
WWE, in my opinion, will not do any sort of working relationship with a company if they're not able to broadcast it.
Hello. You are live on the Ango show. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, hello.
What's up?
State your name and where you're calling from.
I am Kavion Jones. I am calling from Richmond, Virginia.
Thank you for calling in. What questions you got for me?
I got one question before I go to bed. What do you think is better, AEW or WWE?
I think they're both great. I think they're both great, and they're both very different. Enjoy what you like to enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan.
Have a good night. All righty, another call-in. Very, very cool. We did get a super chat, so let's take a look at that super chat. Or did I lie? That was not a super chat. Robin Plays Games became a member for 19 months. He says, what is your favorite wrestling match in 2022 so far? Great question. War Games. War Games was the one for me, my friend. War Games, the men's match was incredible.
Call from.
Adam from Waterbury, Connecticut.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
You're live on the Ango Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Adam Brown. I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut, and I have one more. And I have one question. And also, here's one we're getting out of the way. You can hear me?
I can hear you. Let me see if I could turn you up a little bit because it is kind of hard to hear you.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
better?
Yep, sounds pretty good. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I have two questions for you.
Sure.
Actually, three questions.
No problem.
You talk about the New Japan thing for WWE. Do you think there may be a chance that WWE can work with New Japan and maybe AEW for a tri-branded show at some point?
Unfortunately not. I don't think WWE would go into business with AEW and New Japan. I do think WWE would want to be exclusive with New Japan because I think at the end of the day, WWE would try to push the NXT Japan brand if that was something that they were to create.
That's a good thought. I would suggest at that point. And number two, I was watching Survivor Series War Games, hell of a show that way. And I'm not that shocked that the Bloodline won the thing, but would you really think that it would have been the other way around if Bruce and Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens would have won War Games instead of the Bloodline and go with the storyline to say Sami Zayn screwed up for the Bloodline type of thing? Or would you like the other storyline that said Sami Zayn is loyal to this Bloodline and it leads up to, as like Stella Monster said, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed title at Elimination Chamber? What do you think of all this?
I personally don't want to see the Bloodline split up until a few weeks before WrestleMania. I don't want to see Sami split up from them until it's closer to WrestleMania because I really want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to go after the Usos. I don't hate the idea of Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. That could be a way to get Kevin Owens back on the side of Sami Zayn. As far as the booking goes of War Games match, I personally did not see a flaw with it. I thought they did a really good job of executing it. Maybe you can could try different things, right? You can have the baby faces win, but I think WWE really wants it to mean something special for when Roman Reigns drops the belt, right? When Roman Reigns drops the belt, it's got to be a big deal. And if Roman Reigns keeps picking up losses before that, it kind of ruins everything that they've been building with the Bloodline. So I don't know if there's a situation in which I would try to make the Bloodline look weak, especially if the goal is to put the belt on somebody new at, let's say, WrestleMania Night 2.
Well, yeah, a good point. It does remind me of Goldberg when he was unstoppable, and then they screwed that up. So I'm glad WWE ain't going to screw that thing up.
Exactly.
For that. All right, I'm glad you cut that up. And also number three, and you talked about John Cena getting the 17th win, but the way I see it, and I know everybody's going to disagree with me because I know everybody else. Do you think there may be a good reason that maybe John Cena should, see the grass greener, like say go to AEW and maybe hip up the brand a little bit, like Hulk Hogan did with WCW? Your thoughts on that?
I love that you bring this up, but there is not a scenario in this world where I think John Cena should go to AEW. I personally don't think it makes sense for John Cena. I think if you're WWE, you have worked incredibly hard to have a great relationship with John Cena, so I don't think they would want to see that either. I think John Cena is past the point in his career where he's going to experiment with other wrestling companies. I mean, he's on WWE television as of right now, very little anyways. So I just can't see that being the case. I think he's more concerned with Hollywood, and I think he would rather focus on his movies. Now, what I will say is if John Cena ever did go to AEW, that would be a massive story, and I would be intrigued to see what AEW does. But I don't know if AEW and their hardcore audience would be accepting of John Cena there. I think AEW needs to keep focusing on what they're doing right now. They have a lot of great talent that could become the next John Cena. Instead of bringing in John Cena, I would focus on the people that could become their version of John Cena, if that makes sense.
Well, MJF became a version of John Cena at Full Gear, so I guess that helps a lot.
MJF is the biggest star that they have, and it would be absolutely criminal for them to not take advantage of it, right?
Well, no, they should take advantage of it, and I think they're going to do it pretty damn well with him. in my opinion.
I agree with you. That's why I'm saying it would be criminal if they didn't, because they've done a great job with him thus far, and he's done a fantastic job for that company. I think he is their number one guy, regardless if he's holding the world title.
All right, very good. And one more question before I let you go.
Yeah.
If you think there's any reason that the NXT could make Mandy Rose drop the dang title, it's been too dang long.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it's coming. I don't know when. I'm hoping it's soon. I feel like they're kind of getting close, but and here's what I'll say. Mandy Rose has improved a lot since the first time we saw her in WWE, but I feel like the more and more that she holds the title, the more and more fans will actually start to reject her. Right now, fans actually seem to be enjoying what she's done. It's time for a change. I hope they do it sooner. NXT deadline is taking place December 10th, so I feel like that's the perfect time to end the year. But we'll kind of see what they do. But I do agree with you. I think it's time for them to definitely have her drop the title.
Yeah, I think it may be time to add her into that Iron Survivor Challenge and make her defend that title on that one, in my opinion.
Hey, I think that's a fantastic idea.
I agree with that. All right, well, I'm going to let you go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you for calling in.
Nice chat, you man. Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Call from
Albert Ponce.
to accept, press 1.
Albert Ponce, you're live on the show.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Glad to see everything that's going on with you, man. It's freaking awesome, awesome success, man. You deserve it.
Appreciate it, brother. How are you? What's new? What's happening?
Not much, man. Working, watching wrestling, trying to, keep up with everything that's going on. Want to talk a little WWE women's division.
Hit me. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Bayley goes 0-2 against Bianca.
Yep.
Looks like, we might be going Rhea versus Bianca. So if you're Bayley, what's next for you? Where do you go now?
Great question. If Marina Shafir was in WWE, you could always have Bayley move to SmackDown and do Damage Control versus Ronda, Baszler, and Shafir. Since that's not realistic.
But no, I'm glad it's not realistic.
I agree with you.
No.
I agree with you.
I try to give Marina Shafir the benefit of the dark on, no pun intended, on dark and dark elevation, but it's just not clicking with her.
I'm with you. Because that's not in the realm of possibilities right now, I think Bayley could take the belt off of Ronda, which would make sense. I think I hate saying this because I'm not trying to talk shit about Damage Control. I like what Damage Control is. I like the branding, the presentation. I like what they're doing. I feel like Damage Control not having... Okay, the women winning the tag titles, great, right? Like Io Sky and Dakota Kai winning the titles are great. But the idea that their leader still can't win the big one is kind of upsetting. So the idea of her just leaving Raw to go chase Ronda, I don't like that. What I would like to see WWE do, there's been this rumor for a while of them doing a mid-card championship belt for the women. I'm just going to say it. Maybe this is a little too much, but I think Rhea and Bianca is a very good matchup, and that should happen. If you're not going to have Bayley go to the SmackDown Women's Championship, I would say introduce the mid-card championship belt, have it defended on both brands, just like how the Women's Tag Team Championship titles are. I would do the mid-card championship belt, and I would have Bayley. I would have maybe Adam Pearce announce a tournament or something, and I would literally just have Bayley win it. That could be a solution. I feel like right now it's tough because I would have totally been okay with Bayley being champion, but Rhea Ripley's just had such an incredible year. I want to see that match with her and Bianca. To me, that's a main event. I wouldn't say, actually, you could say main event match. It could be a potentially really, really, really good main event match for WrestleMania. I don't think WWE would go that route, but I think that could headline a pay-per-view, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca. It's tough. That's a really tough one to answer. I think there's a lot of things you can do there, but you got to get Bayley somewhere to feel like a very dominant, champion. And because she's not holding the championship belt, I think it does kind of devalue Damage Control.
Right. No, exactly. Now, so that, that kind of goes into my next question, so I think everyone pretty much is in agreement that at the moment SmackDown is the better show between the two. But how is the women's division on SmackDown so bad? So, you bring the tag team titles back, and, I mean, Hunter's done a great job. Triple H has done a great job since he's taken over. But realistically, unless I knew that I was bringing back Sasha and Naomi, I would not have brought the titles back. Because, I mean, you've had two champions in Damage Control and Asuka and Alexa. Really, it was just a trade-off real quick just to give the Saudi show a title change on their show. So would a better solution to the entire women's division be, have your SmackDown champion, your Raw champion, get rid of the women's tag titles and introduce a mid-card intercontinental title that can float between both shows so that you can give all the other women that are kind of just like, taking losses here and there, like Sonya, Lacey, and all these other, an opportunity to kind of develop and give them something to do as well.
These are all good things that you're bringing up, Albert. I think the biggest thing is women's tag titles. You don't want to retire them again, right? Like it's already been. They have the ability to put women's tag teams together. The issue stems from Ronda Rousey as a champion, because when you look at SmackDown, they have some really good women. You can put feuds. You don't have to complicate it, dude. Like, you can put feuds between Xia Li and Shotzi and Liv Morgan and Raquel and Shayna Baszler and all this stuff. I think the big thing is they're trying to make Ronda Rousey feel like she's unbeatable. And the problem is, in the process, it's not getting over with the fans. And because the focus seems to be more on Ronda, I feel like the women's division is getting less of a focus. Yes, they're getting to wrestle longer matches, but when it comes to like actually getting like a winning streak or like being built up as like a legitimate threat for Ronda, I think that's where WWE has kind of failed. Getting rid of the SmackDown, getting rid of the women's tag team championship belts is not a solution to me. I would say though that if you're the WWE and you want to incorporate a mid-card championship belt for the women, I think you can do that if you unify the World Women's Champions. Like, it would make more sense to do that, right? Like, unify the World Women's Championships so that way you're not adding or removing titles. It's just a wash, right? Instead of 2 world champions for the women, you have 1. Then you have 1 mid-card, and then you have the Women's Tag Team Championship belts. You can do that. But if you're going to go that route, you have to do the same thing for the men's division. So Intercontinental, U.S. title. And I don't see WWE doing that, to be honest. I don't.
Right.
That's why the solution is very, very hard to pinpoint, because I think every solution that I have come up with in my mind, you have to make a very aggressive change. And I don't think those aggressive changes necessarily make sense. I just think Ronda Rousey holding the belt has become detrimental to the division. Easily, if you're WWE, you can move Becky Lynch to SmackDown. Charlotte Flair could come back and win the championship, but then you're still going to have this issue where it's like constantly the same people holding the title. When is somebody new going to do that? And I think that's one of the issues WWE faces. Whereas on the Raw women's division, we're seeing Candice LeRae pick up wins. We're seeing everybody essentially pick up wins. Everybody's kind of involved. Right now, if you're on Raw, you can kind of, if you really wanted to, you can have anybody be a legitimate threat to Bianca Belair. On SmackDown, that's not necessarily the case. Despite the fact that SmackDown's the better show, in my opinion, I think the Raw women's division is just way better.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why you and I get along and enjoy talking so much is because, yeah, we do kind of, get into like the nitty gritty and, try to like really break down how you can work things. So now let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
Let's say at the pay-per-view, Liv somehow beat Ronda,
Yeah.
right? In the current situation that, the SmackDown Women's Division was, would you have given Ronda the belt or kept it on Liv, knowing that you don't have Becky back yet, you don't have Charlotte back, and roll the dice with having, say, Liv as the champion, feuding with, like Lacey, Xia Li, and all these people? Or would you have just, done like they did and put it on Ronda with the, idea being she's more of the crossover, bigger star because of the MMA thing, even though, yeah, for me, she doesn't do it for me either, and I do agree on that part. But do you think they did it just because she was the more marketable person at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I think Liv Morgan and Ronda had a great match at Extreme Rules, which is why it's so strange, right? When you think about it, like WWE has been in a situation where like it's not like Ronda's a failure in like her overall career. It's just as soon as she won her championship back, it was like, why? Like, what was the point of that? I think this just goes back to WWE needs to be very conscious of Ronda's chemistry. I think that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think she has chemistry with a lot of people. So, you can go back and change a million things about the bookings. I don't think that is a concern too much for me. I just think focusing on the future is my concern. I don't feel like they have thought about the future and built people up. That is where I'm a little bit more concerned, because when you're not building people up for the future, you're not preparing Ronda Rousey for the potential chemistry issues she might have, if that makes sense. I'm trying not to sound all over the place, but that's where I think like instead of WWE, like right now, for example, we'll use Raquel, right? If WWE knows that the plan is to put the belt on Raquel and you want Ronda Rousey to have a great match with Raquel, you should have them weeks in advance start preparing to work with each other, not just on TV, but like behind the scenes, like literally get to the point where like now they could start building chemistry behind the scenes. So that way, once it happens, they're Gucci. And I think that would be the biggest thing that WWE would need to do. Because I just think Ronda has a chemistry issue. She did fine with Liv Morgan. When she won the belt back from Liv Morgan, I didn't even mind that because I thought everything was logical. It made sense. It was fine. But after watching Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey, I was just I felt very confused, honestly.
Right. No, exactly. I think a lot of us did. Yeah. Well, hey, man, listen, it's been, as always, it's always great speaking with you and, going over what's going on in the week in wrestling. And, as I said when we first started, man, much love to you, all the success. It's been awesome. I've been a fan of yours for a while now, so I've, YouTube, Twitch, back to YouTube, I've followed you.
Of course.
So, definitely, man, keep up the great job.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. I'll see you.
Bye.
All right, guys, we're taking one last call.
Call from.
Okay,
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay. I lied. We're not going to be taking any more calls. I don't know what's happening in the chat. Robin is... Hold on. Let's go back to full screen really quick. Robin just gifted 2 subs, 2 memberships. Okay. Apparently you can gift memberships on YouTube these days. Robin, thank you for that. I actually had no idea that you can gift memberships. So shout out to Robin Plays Games, who gifted 2 memberships here on YouTube. Very, very cool. Very exciting. Thank you, Robin. That was a Twitch feature. For those who don't know, that was a Twitch feature that we had. And that's really cool. So shout out to Robin for gifting some memberships. Very, very cool. We're going to close the phone lines because I'm getting flooded with calls right now. And I wanted to... Let's see. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about NXT for something that I kind of wanted to mention. Give me 1 second, my friends. So, kind of, you know, we're over a little bit an hour. That's why we did a lot more phone calls than I anticipated. Then we had some of the technical issues and whatnot. So basically NXT tonight. And I kind of mentioned in the beginning of the show, there's certain things happening in NXT that makes me believe that the show is getting a little too cheesy. Okay. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. That's where I'm at with it right now when it comes to NXT. I see certain storylines look really good. The presentation of Dijak, Apollo Crews, Braun Breaker, it's cool, right? But there's certain things I'm seeing on the show where it's become a little too cheesy. And it's kind of unfortunate because the storytelling's logical. They're following logic. They're not doing the bullshit booking that WWE used to do. But it's getting a little too childish at times. I see somebody like Big Body Javi and Mackenzie Mitchell. Like, it's funny, it's cool, it's whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm supposed to take this talent serious. And just sometimes it comes off a little too cringe. And that was my hot take that I said earlier. So, ultimately, NXT's not terrible. But I'm not as invested in NXT as I was before. And that's kind of unfortunate. So I kind of just wanted to put that out there. My favorite show since Triple H's reign is SmackDown. WWE Raw is really, really, really good. I think WWE SmackDown is really, 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 really good. Just SmackDown's better flow. 2 hour is a lot easier to watch than 3 hours. Triple H's booking on Raw is not a bad thing. It's just SmackDown, I feel like the pace and everything is a lot better. So, anyways, that's why I want to talk. With that being said, we're going to call it a night. We're a little bit over an hour. We'll be back tomorrow for NXT. So make sure you guys come through for NXT. Phone lines will be open. You guys might break the phone lines again tomorrow. So that's like a work in progress. We'll keep working on it. We'll keep figuring it out. I appreciate you guys stopping by the Ango Show, November 29th, 2022. Thank you to everybody who became a member. Thank you to everybody who gifted memberships. My favorite color is red, I think. Yeah, it's red. I would say my favorite color is red. Random question, Robin, but yeah, it's red. So yeah, we'll be live tomorrow for AEW. Hopefully it's good. Don't know. Did I say NXT tomorrow? I'm sorry. I meant AEW. Dynamite. Brain fart. I was reading the chat. My bad. So we'll be live tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Hopefully the phone lines are all working. Like I was trying to say too, like there might be technical issues. I didn't expect so many calls. Literally, I'm not even joking right now. If I could show you guys, there was about 100 missed calls. I can't answer 100 calls. So make sure you guys try again tomorrow. We'll be here. We'll talk AEW. It's going to be fun. Thank you to everybody who called in. First live call-in show here on the channel. Appreciate it. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.